Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Inhumans 2-pack of Black Bolt and Triton. I'm very excited to get these guys because I've kind of wanted the Inhumans full team since the days of the 1990s. The days of the 1990s Fantastic Four series on TV. It's been a long time, but we finally have decent Inhumans representation in the Marvel Legends line, so I'm kind of thrilled to get that. Finally, it took so long to get. I got my version of Medusa, original version, and Black Bolt quite a while back, but I'm so happy to have these new versions for the characters. So we've got Medusa's new version, and we got Karnak, my favorite Inhuman. He's sadly the one that they gave the least respect to, but that's okay. I'll take what I can get, and I'll modify him if I need to. So we've got Black Bolt's new version here, and he does come with Triton. So if you don't know the Inhumans, this is kind of like the royal family of the Inhumans. The Inhumans are a Kree experiment. The humans and the Inhumans are both Kree experiments with biology, and the Inhumans live on the blue part of the moon, and they're kind of like one of the oldest humanoid type groups on Earth, as far as I know, in the Marvel storyline. If you don't know Marvel, they have so many different types of extra races and species and creatures. It's kind of an interesting storyline. Obviously, really fantasy based, but they do have kind of a bit of science fiction-y aspect to most of their guys. Even have guys like the Moloids, who Mole Man controls the underground race of almost blind tiny creatures. But anyways, back to the Inhumans. There they are out of the box, and you can see the artwork. They chose like the classic old style Inhumans print. I like the way that looks, but I probably won't be using it. But let's go straight to the figures, because this is probably going to be a bit of a long review. We're going to start with the accessories, but we'll go with Triton for the first character. Hopefully these guys don't let me down in any way. I think I'm going to be pleased with both of them, but I haven't opened them up yet until just now. Wow. Okay, and we also have this alternate head for Triton, where he's a little more beastie looking. So, okay, we'll put this to the side for now. And we lost that alternate head, so we're going to have to grab that out. Okay, so looking at the alternate head first, if my camera will focus on it. Okay, so he does have this little mask, and I think this version might be from maybe the mid-2000s, if I remember right. But I don't know what happened to Triton during that time, but I think he's supposed to be further mutated or something like that. And apparently he needs this mask to breathe on land. That seems to be the idea behind it. So, okay. His other accessories are these two swimming, diving based hands. They look okay, but I do have a bit of a ridge on this one. I think that's probably supposed to look like his glove, but it does look a bit odd. But yeah, it is the glove texture, I think. Okay, and moving on to the figure. Oh, I'm getting lots of messages on my phone right when I'm making the video. Bad timing, huh? Okay. Oops. Moving on to the figure. This is what he looks like. They've added some kind of shiny purple metallic paint. That's a nice little like job they did on the trim of his costume. So they did a lot of unique sculpting. This is all, what can we say, rigid. It's got the little bumps all over it. So we'll go to the posability almost immediately from the start, just because I am worried how long this will take. Okay, fortunately, he can look up a lot, but he is on the usual ball and hinge. Okay, and then he can look down that far. Side to side, he can't give any attitude really, unfortunately. But obviously he can turn side to side this way. He just can't cock his head really. I guess you can force it a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be made to be able to do that. You can force it, but it's better than nothing. Okay, and then looking at his shoulders, he has these butterfly joints. They seem to be barely functional, but they are better than nothing. But yeah, it could be improved, but I think it looks okay for the costume aspect. It might be kind of a hard thing to pull off, making it match the costume look, but I don't want to make excuses for him. But his arm will go up to here, and the joint moves really smoothly compared to a lot of Marvel Legends, so that's appreciated. The bicep cut, he's got double jointed pinned elbows that will go, yeah, about there is the maximum. If I tuck this part in, yeah, it doesn't really go as far that way. So, okay. Yeah, they are pinless. I think I said it, but okay. And then his fisticuff punching hands are both horizontally hinged. So, and of course, they pivot. Feels a little bit tight for the pivot, but I don't think it's going to break or anything. So, mine seems to sit normal on this left hand, but this hand seems to sit further out somehow. So that's kind of odd. But it's not a big deal, but I might try dremeling just a little bit to make it fit in there more snugly. So, okay. The next part, he does have an old style ab crunch. It goes back that far, goes forward like that, and it doesn't look too bad or too unnatural. I suppose if we get his arms out of the way, it does look goofier, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And he does have this like rubber belt that seems to ride up kind of high, but we can pull it down a bit. And if we pull it back up, I'm pretty sure he does have a torso twist. Yeah, his torso twist is like that. Torso twist, I always say it Battletech style. He's got a waist cut or a swivel at the waist. Okay, he's gonna kick up to here, so it's just 90, I would say, but maybe a degree above 90, a degree below. But okay, and he does have a very smooth thigh cut that works very well, and his double jointed pinless knees will get his legs back that far. And he does have a boot cut, thank God. They've been kind of slacking in that department recently, so this guy's very appreciated. He needs it since he's kind of an underwater character that needs to make the dynamic poses. But okay, and he does have ankle pivot and pretty good range on his boots. He can get up a little bit. So back goes really far. Okay. So that is Triton. And we're going to change his head real quick just to see what it looks like and to see if the range is as good. I'm afraid that the range may be limited by this mutated fin part. Oh, it's not. It's not bad. He can still swim straight ahead, so that's good. All right. But it is popping off. Sorry. Maybe it was not Maybe it was not popped in completely. But yeah, we still got good range. Huh? It pops off very easily. Okay. It wasn't completely in. Now it's completely in, but it's still pretty good range. So I think Triton fans will be pleased with his posability overall. I'm going to go back to the classic look, and we're going to add him to the other Inhumans back here in the background. I should have grabbed some stands so they would look better together. These guys are going to be a little bit shorter than the others. I guess Crystal doesn't have a stand, so. Okay, and we'll go on to Black Bolt. So Black Bolt is here, and his accessories are going to be a bit overwhelming, I think. So we have these fanny, watch my language if we got British viewers, but we got these fanny looking, whoa, sort of wings. I don't even know what to call them, but they sort of function similar to wings, but I think they're more for decoration than anything else. We got, sorry, a lot of tape on this stuff. I hope these have right and lefts marked on them so they're easier to plug in to match well. Okay, we'll get this guy out in just a minute. So we've got the hands. These are, these are a different, these are a different mold than the others. They are bigger, if we compare, bigger hands than Tritons, and they don't have the same kind of weird ridge. So the quality seems to be a little bit better for these, or at least they're done a little bit better. And we also have these alternate hands, which are will open. Okay, you can see those okay. And his alternate head looks like this. Mine's got a bit of paint here. I believe the base of the head is black, so, or almost black. So maybe I can scrape a bit of that off. I am kind of scared to do it though. If I make a miscalculation, I might make it worse. But if I paint over that, it won't be too bad. So that's him using his powers. So he is quite fierce looking in this expression. Okay, and he does have his little tuning fork, which I like, and that's done pretty well. So it's not as breakable feeling as the old one seemed. Okay, and as for the little fanny attachments, fan-like attachments, so we've got 2 for at rest and 2 for like a movement pose, and we'll see how those work after we take a look at the figure himself. Try to get him out. Okay. All right, this is what he looks like. I got my guys from Big Bad Toy Store. The pile of loot came last night, so I was really excited to get these guys. Okay, this is a better focus for the overall figure. So, all right, so with Black Bolt, you can see the colors are darker on this one than the old one. I don't have my old one here to compare to. I'm sorry. I did bring the rest of the family, but I didn't bring the old versions to compare to. So maybe another time, another video. But I don't know which buck this is. I'm not sure. It could be the new Punisher's buck, but I actually don't have that figure, so I'm not positive. Or it could be the Vulcan buck. Maybe if you guys know, you can mention it in the comments. I have to do some closer comparisons to double check. But I think for the height, he's going to stand about average height. So it could be Vulcan. I think Vulcan might be slightly taller than average, but it's kind of hard to say. Since they're making it into a kind of a new universal buck, maybe everybody's going to be taller on average for newer figures. But okay, and if we take a look at his posability, so he is also on a hinge and ball joint. He can look up that far, but that's about it. But yeah, you could still make him kind of jumping forward. So I think it works okay for people wanting to pose like that. He can bury the chin or really bury the chin if we bring it down even further. Okay. For attitude, he's got almost nothing to show. Of course, surveying the area, no problem. But okay, and then onto his torso. Sorry, this is really tight. Okay, so he does have butterfly joints. I'm trying to loosen this one up so we can see the range, but it is pretty tight. The room is cold, but it's not as cold as usual, so I can push it a bit more. Okay, the range will get you kind of like that across, so it's not too bad, and it'll get you a little bit back, so I think it's pretty good for a character like Black Bolt who needs kind of like presence to really make his scream look powerful if you put his screaming head or his shouting head on. So, whoa, and I just totally destroyed the camera. Sorry about that. Okay, you can see my school's calendar back there. Okay, then he's got usual shoulders that will go up, swivel and go up here with their hinge, so a little bit better than 90. The cut on this is pretty ugly, but it's not going to bother me too much. I know it does bother some people a lot, but okay. And then double jointed pinless elbows. Getting that second part to pose is, or to bend is pretty hard. But okay, they'll get you about that far. So it's not too bad looking. He does have big biceps, so it's kind of hard to do. All right, and his wrists hinge and pivot as usual. I was going to say I'm afraid that I said his ankles when I talked about Triton, but I don't know. Okay. For his for his ab crunch, they didn't continue the paint inside, so that looks kind of crappy. It's not the worst thing because you could imagine it's like a design, but it doesn't look good and it doesn't seem to match the rest of the design. So, okay, but he will go forward a lot and he'll go back a lot too. So you got quite a bit of range. How does it look in the back? It looks like that. So it's not terrible. Okay. Sorry, I'm afraid I'm keeping this guy too close this time. Okay. He does have torso twist. He's got his waist swivel. He can kick up about here. It looks like you might get some rub. Maybe not. You might be able to get some rub on the silver part. So I'd watch that if you're somebody that wants to keep it in pristine condition. But his thigh cut works fine, and his double jointed pinless knees will get you back that far. Okay, and then he does have a boot cut, which is appreciated, and his ankles will go back that far, forward that far. Okay, and I'm gonna do one other thing that I forgot to do. Check it can do the splits this much, and I'm so sorry to go back to Triton, but Triton can do the splits this much. Sorry, I should have remembered to do that earlier. Okay. Let's see if we can get his little wing parts on. And is there a little message? Yes, this says right. So this should be his right arm's version. And yes, this does say left. I'm going to see if I can get this to focus so you guys can see it. But can you see that tiny L? I know my fingernails are long. There's a tiny L on here, so you can tell which one to put it on. Fortunately, they put those little marks on. So, okay, so here's kind of what it looks like more at rest. I should probably give him different arms when he's at rest, but sorry, different arms, different hands. Okay, so that's what he's looking like. I think it looks pretty good. It's not too bad. Okay, and if we stretch those out, we'll try. Let's see. Do these have the same thing? Yes, they do. It's too hard to focus on, but we'll give it a try. Okay, you can see on here there's a tiny R. It's probably really hard to see, but it's at the end of my fingernail there. Wow. That didn't work. Sorry, it's still not working there. It's at the end of my fingernail there. Okay, so this one does say right. So we need the left right now. Okay, and it fits in like this. So this is going to be a lot better than the previous one. The previous black bolts really looked goofy. When you put his arms down to the sides, he always had these giant things riding up in the back. So this one is going to go much better for the functionality of it. Okay, if he wants to show off his armpit to everybody. But okay, and we'll check his other head real quick. But first I'll put this on so we have a matching set. And we'll bring his arms out and maybe back a bit. Might do this a little bit too extreme, but let's see if I can make it into some kind of a pose. Sorry, I just realized he's off camera. Wow, that is hard to take off. Okay, and the new head. Oh, I should have put this on before I posed him, huh? Okay. New head is here. And we'll see if we can make this look somewhat decent. How about that? Okay. Now he's out of focus, sorry. Okay. So it's not too bad for the posing options. These extra wings give you a good option. So you can make him look a lot more natural, whether he's fighting or not. Okay, and we'll put him next to the others for just a second. Okay, and I'm going to get the measuring tools because I'm a fool. I left them over here. Sorry about that. Okay. If we check their height, let's put Black Bolt with none of his accessories and just stand him up straight. We'll have a comparison to the other characters. He's going to be a really angry Black Bolt just standing there by himself. Okay, for his height, Black Bolt is going to be at 6 and what is that? 6 3/4? Yeah, 6 3/4 of an inch. Geez, I wish this would focus. 6 3/4 of an inch, or a little over 16 centimeters. I would say 16.2 or 16.3 centimeters. Okay. And for Triton, he's going to stand a little bit taller, especially since he has his crest. So Triton is going to stand at around here. That is 6 and... What did I say before? 6 and 3... Sorry, 6 and 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 and 5/8 inches. Sorry, guys. I think I might have said the wrong thing on Black Bolt. Let's make sure again. I'm gonna make his legs a little bit different pose because I feel like it's not as accurate as I want to be. Okay, to the top of his head. Okay, he's 6 and 3. Yeah, 6 and 3/8 inches. I hope I said 3/8 before. I wasn't sure if I said 3/8 or 3/4. Is this thing ever gonna focus? God, it's never gonna focus, huh? Focus. Okay, it focused, but it's completely off now. But yeah, 6 and 3/8. So right here. Okay, that should be 16.2. Okay, 16.2 centimeters. Sorry, guys. I want to be precise, but the lighting problems are always a problem. I don't know why I have that much trouble with lighting, but okay. So yeah, that is the Inhumans main family complete. Now these are the heroic Inhumans. We are missing Maximus the Mad, who I believe is their cousin, and he's kind of the main villain for the Inhumans. But if you're like me, you've been waiting for this team for a long time, so it's really good to get them all completed. I was waiting for this shipment from Big Bad Toy Store for a long time, but I waited for my pile of loot to kind of come to its 3-month point before I shipped them. But it was like, come on, Inhumans, come on, Inhumans. So they're really nice set all together, and they go really well with the Fantastic Four. So this is like an awesome completion point for the Inhumans thing. If they make a good Maximus, I will get him, but I'm happy with this for my heroic version of the Inhumans. So I'll try to customize Karnak a little bit to give him a little more detail, but sadly I don't think we're going to get a pinless version of him unless it's like, new pinless Karnak, buy him with Lockjaw and it costs $70 or something like that. Hopefully they won't do that, but I'm afraid they will with Karnak if people want to get a pinless version of him to go along with these all nice updated versions of the others. So I guess if we want to get technical, his arms are not pinless. So Gorgon is not pinless in completely. His legs are. But okay, anyways, I'm just rambling, so I'll let you guys go, and thank you a lot for taking a look at the Inhumans Black Bolt and Triton pack with me. If you're like me, you've got to be sitting pretty knowing that they completed the main group. I really hope we will get Maximus sometime. We need some villains for them, yeah. But okay, that's it for now. Thanks, guys. I'll hit the camera a few more times before we say goodbye. Bye for now.